Hi everyone, my name's Jeroen from the Clapham property blog, and today I'm going to talk to you about qualifying tenants for viewings. So, what does it actually mean, qualifying tenants? Well, you will know all about this if you advertise some of your own properties. Now, a lot of you won't because you leave it to the agents, which is very well because you have lots of things to do and you outsource the dirty work of finding tenants to a letting agent, which is absolutely fine. But you may also be curious to know what kind of questions that they should be asking your tenant before they even lift a finger and go to the property with the keys. Well, number one, the tenants always phone up from an internet advert. We don't advertise anything on corner shop windows and so on and so forth. And you as a professional landlord will have also advertised your property on some kind of portal like Rightmove or Zoopla with all the photographs, floor plans, maps and all that sort of thing. So if a tenant asks me, what's it look like or where is it or whatever, I know instantly they don't have the brain capacity to look at the advert. So by definition, I won't be going to the property to show them around because they haven't bothered looking at the advert, they just scroll down to the numbers. So the second question that I ask is what they do for a living. Now, this will tell you a little bit more about the tenant, how much money they earn and so on and so forth. Another key question is why are they moving? You know, if they say things like, oh, I'm not getting on with the other tenants in my household, that should set alarm bells ringing, really. Fourth thing is when they need to move. Now, you'll be absolutely amazed at how many tenants overlook this crucial point. If your property is available on the 1st of September and they need to move on the 1st of October, well, guess what? It's never going to happen, is it? So stay in your seat, don't go to the property, don't show them around. Unless they can categorically move on the 1st of September, it's not interesting for you at all to go and show them the property. So, what other things do we need? Well, an address would be useful as well, so that you know who you're meeting, and if anything does go awry, then you can basically fall back on that. Telephone number, email address, you can contact them after the viewing for feedback, and how many people will be living at the property is key as well. Now, you won't be surprised to hear that I've had a few dodgy stories over the years, trying to fit 5 people into a 2-bedroom flat, for instance. Now, that's probably not something that you want. It's definitely not something that I want. So, how many people? Who's it for? Is it for themselves? Or is it for some long-lost relative that they're now looking to rehome? I always think that moving into a property, getting a roof over your head is probably the most important thing that you can do in life, and that can't be outsourced. It really can't. So you need to be speaking to the organ grinder, not the monkey. So make sure that you are speaking to the decision maker. If there are 5 people, you're letting a 5-bedroom house, for example, always ask the question, are you able to make a decision? And if not, will the other people be there in order to make a decision together? Now, why is this key? Well, quite simply, if you view with one person out of the group and they go back and tell their friends, and then the other friend says, oh, well, I saw this other one, and basically things get lost. You need everyone there together in order to make a firm yes or no decision. Now, normally, they'll make a decision right there. Normally they will have seen enough because you will have asked another key question, which is, how many properties have you seen? Now, if the answer is 0, it is very, very unlikely that they will take your property, no matter how good it is, because quite simply, they have nothing to compare it to. If the answer is something like 20 or 30, then really alarm bells should start ringing. They are very, very fussy. Now, the ideal answer is probably somewhere in between 3 and 7 viewings. Now, the key qualifier that I always ask is, well, what stopped you from taking those? And if they say something like, well, we offered on one, but we missed out, or so on and so forth, those tenants are very, very keen. They're able to make a decision. So the next question you must ask then is, oh, what was that property like? And if your property is exactly the same, then bingo. So find out what they wanted in that property and hopefully match that up with yours. Hopefully it's an ideal mix and you've got yourself some very keen tenants there. So Hope that helps. To qualify your tenants, get all the details, make sure you got the right move date, make sure they are relatively able to make a decision, be it they've seen enough or they've got the right people there in order to make a decision. The last thing that I check really before I sign off is, have they got enough money to pay the deposit and the first month's rent? Now if they say something like, oh, I'm getting paid at the end of the month and then I will, but the move date is on the 15th of the month, then you've got a problem obviously. They need all the money in advance. The other thing to worry about with that one is that they can't plan financially. So if they can't even plan to get themselves organised for a move-in, then paying rent by standing order is probably going to be difficult as well. So make sure they've got the money, make sure they've got the ability, make sure your property is right for them. Happy viewing.